Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having us. My name is Waylon Matson. I am the executive director for Four Walls International. Definitely not a GIS expert by any means, longtime lurker, but we had the opportunity to work with some amazing technical experts. Uh, the furthest my GIS experience had been up to this point had been just focusing on monitoring. So we do a lot of community science and use Survey 123, and we're able to work with other academics focusing on orthomosaic mapping, trying to find clandestine dump sites, et cetera. So getting into this, I will skip some of the technical stuff. This is a presentation that we shared at the user conference this last year, and it's good to be back in the circle. You go ahead and go to the next one. So the way we all connected around this project was through the World Design Capital 2024. It's a biannual designation, and the San Diego Tijuana region got it collectively. I think it was the first one in the United States. So it was a huge honor. And it really decked out a calendar year of projects that really focus on how design really impacts everything in our built world. We came on board through a legacy project being selected. There was a few criteria, and we were selected as the environmental legacy project, and were introduced to other collaborating partners through the World Design Capital. A little bit, next slide, please. So a little bit of background about us. We incorporated in 2009 as a social housing nonprofit, actually looking at ways to incorporate Earthship Biotexture's architecture into a sustainable social housing model. We found ourselves working in the communities of Tijuana. And in 2015, we realized we really couldn't match the speed and scale of the problem in our urbanized watershed. So we developed four core pillars or programs based around science, policy, finance, and community in efforts to kind of create a regional resilience plan. So our core programs really focus on the impacts of sediment and solid waste, especially within the stormwater system, and creating pathways to address source-based solutions in the upper portion of the watershed in Mexico. Go ahead, next one, please. We were introduced through this to some partners in Mexico. They were a newly formed nonprofit mixed with designers, landscape architects, and planners. And they really wanted to find ways to find interventions as we were, but really also connecting that with the government in Mexico at the state and local level. So they were able to kind of come in as facilitators as well in getting this project off the ground. Next slide, please. Our partners are Arup, were the ones that really did all the heavy lifting. Gabby Marquez, Andrew Nguyen, and Jack Daly really just were able to kind of interpret a lot of what they saw on the ground and what I think they were able to fill as an international firm. I think we worked with a lot of local firms, but working with Arup in the sense that they had kind of a well-rounded shop from resilience planning to GIS to engineering, and was really kind of a breath of fresh air for me personally, just because how easily they were able to step into the space and hit the ground running. Next slide, please. So we sat down as a group in the initial phases to really identify what core solutions or problems that we would want to highlight in this index. And we were able to pinpoint down five, working with Arup, but also with stakeholders from across the board and binationally. So we were able to interpret a lot of the initial planning that the federal government from the US EPA and IBWC, which is the International Boundary and Water Commission, have really prioritized, especially around larger pipe projects. But what we really wanted to highlight was the impacts on these larger investments and the community aspect of how we could tailor future interventions in Mexico around this. Next slide, please. So the watershed itself, 2/3 of it is in Mexico, with the northern portion running just along the coastal region in the Tijuana River Valley, which is a very small section, and then in the eastern mountains around Campo, up into two reservoirs, the Barrett Lake and the Barrett Dam, and Lake Morena, and inside is within the watershed in San Diego County. And the other 2/3 actually runs straight through the urbanized portion of Tijuana. And when we look at like the demographic changes that have really impacted the city and the exponential growth, especially post NAFTA, it's been a constant struggle for the municipality at every level, for state and federal, to keep up with the influx of folks coming to the region. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, I just focus on, if you want to go back 1 second, the big core problems that the watershed does suffer from is sediment and solid waste impacting the wastewater collection system, but also the integrity of a very important wetland and estuary, because it is one of the last intact wetlands, coastal wetlands in Southern California, but also the impacts on that wastewater treatment conveyance system and the plants themselves, from being able to treat that at an effective level. So we have huge amounts of waste pollution, or I mean, wastewater pollution as well, but also the amount of single-use plastics and foam and other things from the urbanized portion, but also the toxic stuff that's coming from a lot of the maquiladoras, or the industrialized manufacturing. So as we worked in this space, we've really tried to target three major levers, so to speak. A lot of that focuses around nature-based solutions, but also the way governance structure is, it's very multi-jurisdictional. So it's the need to really coordinate these investments when they do come, and really be able to protect some of the operations and maintenance costs on the long term, have really been the priority for our organization, to really step in the space to find innovative pathways that we could address this at the source, and not really have to wait and come up with reactionary measures to resolve this in California. Next slide, please. So stepping into the space with the team, we really wanted to find a tool that could convey this, and create basically a conversation starter with everyone from the academic community, the nonprofit community, but also the policymakers, and to support uh, academically invested priorities, local priorities that focus around hill slope stabilization, pathways to really strengthen channel armoring and green infrastructure where available, but then also figure out pathways to connect green space and other kind of behavior change models that we can apply to in the future as well. Next slide, please. So throughout the stakeholder engagement portion, we were able to really synthesize a lot of information and priorities to kind of really identify these core indexes, and then really be able to see how this as a tool would be able to be openly distributed and transparent, but then also be able to build off of and really add other core indexes, such as public health has been a big issue for us recently as well. We've expanded more water quality monitoring throughout different portions of the watershed. That's a data set that we're looking to integrate. There's also sediment monitoring programs that are coming online, economic impacts, and then eventually, hopefully, carbon and resilience planning as well. The data sourcing. So this was a huge hurdle for us, because a lot of the data stops at the border. So Gabby and our partners at the Tijuana Envenenadora, or Tijuana Verde, really stepped in to really push for some of this data to be released from, especially from CESPED, which is it's a little complicated, but they are the state managed water supply and wastewater treatment agency in Mexico, even though the municipality is in charge of stormwater. And then you get further complicated because Conagua, they manage like the river systems themselves from the central point out. So being able to layer a lot of that data and acquire some of that data was challenging. And as you see in some of the later examples, a lot of the data is centered around the urban center, where some of this data from INEFE and other federal agencies were able to be applied. So really building out that rural section as well is something that we want to be able to prioritize in the future, as well as the interdependency of modeling binationally as well. Next, please. So this is definitely one of the sections I'm going to skip and leave for Gabby. Her contact will be at the end of the presentation, so please feel free to reach out to her to see how she was really able to do that. And it's also documented in the dashboard itself. So if you want to take a peek at the data sets that we were able to merge to create this, it's all there. Yeah, gonna skip that one too. So when as we concluded the project, we also had the opportunity to share this not just through the World Design Capital, but we are still sharing it today, and we're still looking for other ways to really use this as a starting point to really connect the dots on future financing solutions. We as an organization have really prioritized since 2015 the creation and conceptualization of an environmental impact bond. And to be able to really structure that and create the interagency transfer agreements and binational collaboration that's really doing it. This tool's been super valuable in being able to convey information in a very quick, effective, and visible way. So I alluded to it earlier. It's just really building out future data sets that we can acquire and validate that we can also uh, tie in to the index. We're especially around the monitoring piece. The binational monitoring is essential to a lot of this future work. Currently, there is a Prop 4 bonds that are going through Sacramento. I'll be up in Sacramento December 8th through 10th, just refamiliarizing myself with some local departments and agency folks, as well as kind of getting in front of our local legislators around some for the 2026 legislative cycle, and just being able to articulate a lot of what we've been working on, and a lot of nonprofits in our sector have been working on for decades, and really creating a regional approach and not so dependent on the decisions of Mexico City or Washington, D.C. to fund sustainable projects in the future. But if you guys have any questions, this was for a conference, so I apologize if I wasn't able to slide my emails in there yesterday. And the dashboard itself is accessible on the link on the right. Gabby, she would be the point person that for any technical questions. She's her information's there in the center. And if you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out. And thank you again for the award. Thank you again for a lot of what you guys do in this field. And if we got programs going all over the place in the counties. So if you guys want to get your hands dirty and come learn a little bit more about our work, please feel free. I'll also throw my email in the chat as well.